Can you guys believe how tall my corn has gotten? I mean, it is like in a raised bed. This is about this high up off the ground, but I mean, like, this stuff is massive. I don't think I've ever had corn this tall. It doesn't even fit in the frame. But this reminds me that it's been a while since you guys have seen the garden, so let's do a garden tour. I feel like this is turning more and more into what I wanted it to be. And the corn being here as like almost a privacy screen is honestly very ideal. I did not expect everything in this area to get so tall. The marshmallow definitely got really tall, and then you can see it flopped right over. But for a minute, it was like all the way up here. And if we look at it from this angle, you can also see in the back there, those are the sunchokes that are also getting really, really tall. And the carrots are going to seed, and they are also very, very tall. Look at these. They're not quite done making seeds. These ones look like they might be forming, but they're not really ready yet. We're gonna have so many purple carrot seeds. Anyways, if you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Rachel, and this is my garden. I started with the in-ground garden you see behind me, and have been slowly expanding into this space over here. And honestly, I'm feeling like the new space is my new favorite space in the garden these days, especially like the past few weeks, like I said, where everything is getting really tall. But my first love will always be this garden, and especially the peppers and the tomatoes. This row right here is where I always put my tomatoes, on these cattle panel trellises. In the last couple of years, I've also done these purple pole beans near them. These are a variety called the blue cocoa, and they are so prolific. I feel like I come out here every single day and get more and more of them. Plus, they're so fast. I think most beans are like this, but like this bean will be ready to harvest by this time tomorrow. They grow so fast this time of year, and I usually have like 3 to 5 plants along the whole trellis sharing with my tomatoes, and that ends up being like a perfect amount of green beans for me. I'm bent down to look at this tomato, and I found a garden buddy. Do you see that little spider right there? It's doing such a good job eating all the little pests for me. If you're new to gardening and the bugs still somewhat freak you out, I recommend you check out my video on insects that I did. I think it was last summer now. And I go through all the different jobs that they have. And like for me, learning what they did and why they were important really helped me to start appreciating them and being less afraid of them. So check that out. So I've got a fair number of green tomatoes coming on, nothing turning red yet. And it feels like I'm behind because I feel like I've seen a lot of other people harvest tomatoes, but I was going through my book and I'm actually not that far behind from where I was last year. So all in all, I'm not like too pressed about it. Oh, look at that one. That one's going to be gorgeous. So also in this area, I do have my basils. I have a few purple basils, mostly green basils, and I've actually already cut these back once and made pesto with them, and you can see they're already trying to flower again, so I'll have to cut them back and make more pesto again. This is a great illustration of how big these plants grow. This is one bean plant, and this right here, going back and forth, that is also one bean plant, so that's just 2 right there, and they're already covering a significant amount of this trellis. Here's some more marshmallow that hasn't flopped over yet. You can see next to me it is pretty tall, and the other one would also be this tall if the wind hadn't knocked it over. So far, the garden walkway right here is walkable, which in previous years it has gotten unwalkable very quickly. So I'm trying to stay on top of this. I do want to continue to be able to walk down all the walkways of my garden. But as happens every year, there is a good chance that things are gonna get a little crazy, especially once these eggplants actually start really getting big. These are not quite fruiting yet. I think I saw a flower or 2 on a couple of them, but we're still a few weeks out from eggplant. And as far as peppers go, These ones here at the front are my hot pepper plants. And you can see there's like a little baby fruit there, some flowers. This one over here has some baby fruits, but nothing really significant yet. I actually passed over this here at the front, but my Buena Mulata pepper plant, actually, it is always the first one to put on ripe peppers. And so I've already pulled a couple off of this plant, actually. So my early producer is producing, but nothing else really is. I have a significant amount of volunteer potatoes in this area. I planted 0 potatoes here, and I have at least 5 or 6 plants in this area. And you know me, I'm always too sad to pull them up. One of them is even flowering, which is kind of a rare thing for potatoes. Most of the time when you're growing them, you don't get to see the flowers. So I think that's always interesting to see. I was looking through here at the horse mint that I've got here. This was actually a volunteer. It is an edible plant that is quote unquote better oregano. I cannot say one way or the other on that. It definitely has an oregano-like quality to it. But I was looking at this and then I saw that right there. That's my very first zinnia of the year, that hot pink bloom. At the back here, my feverfew is getting overgrown with grass, unfortunately. But the lemon balm is fluffing out really nicely and doing a fairly good job of keeping this area shady enough that the grass doesn't really sneak under it into this section of the garden very much. This is my second round of corn, by the way. The other stuff was just a couple months earlier. And this stuff, I think it's probably like 2 weeks old now. It's also growing pretty fast. This is Pennsylvania butter flavored popcorn, and the other one that you saw that got really tall is glass gem popcorn. And popping up in between them, these are southern peas, which I'm hoping will climb them, kind of like Three Sisters style. And then this section over here are my peanuts, which I did finally get planted. So these are coming up in between all of the weeds, which I swear I keep pulling out, but they grow so darn fast. This trellis right here is still empty for the time being, although I do have inside some cucumbers started to try and plant onto this. In the past, I've had a lot of trouble getting cucumbers to direct sow here, mostly because the pill bugs are so aggressive about eating the starts. And so this year, one of the things I'm doing is I'm trying a perennial creeping cucumber. It's a variety that I got from the Experimental Farm Network, and it's not super genetically stable yet, but I thought it sounded like a fun thing to try. So I am going to plant that on this trellis once I actually get them started enough to feel like the pill bugs aren't going to just eat them instantly. And I'll show you in a minute. I also have a couple of them growing in a container, just to make sure that I actually do get something, because I'm really excited to see what it looks like. And also I think I need a lot more seeds. And then this arch right here is going to be the noodle bean trellis. These things always take a while to get started. They stay small for an annoyingly long time, and then they just like explode like at a foot a day once they really start vining out. So these look like, oh yeah, there's the first flower right there. We will be getting noodle beans pretty soon. I also planted some more baby noodle beans here because definitely a few of them in here got eaten up by the pill bugs once again. This newly cleared area here I've planted with sorghum, actually a popping variety. It's not something I've ever really grown before, so I'm not entirely sure what to look for as far as a seedling, but my intuition is telling me that this is the seedling that I'm looking for. It looks a little bit like grass, but definitely a little different from grass somehow. I can't really explain it. Tune in next time to see if I'm correct or if I'm just like totally missing the mark. And a very fun development, something I hadn't expected at all, is my turmeric is actually coming back. So I was gifted this turmeric by a viewer last year who said that it should be able to survive in the ground over winter in my area, and I was like, I don't know, that doesn't seem quite right. But I left a couple just to see, and both of them now are coming back. And the thickness of these stalks, like, is so much bigger than the ones that I planted just this year. So I am excited to see what this digs up at the end of the summer. It'll probably be massive. So my grapes that are supposed to be on the pergola are also going over this arch here. And even though I have a lot of growth this year, I really only have one little bunch of grapes, and they are right here. They were ballooning up really quick for a while, and now they've kind of stopped at this size. We've been getting plenty of rain, so I'm not entirely sure what to expect as far as size from these, to be honest. Like if they're stopped growing for some reason, or this is just like the normal slowing down of their growth. But they're definitely supposed to turn purple when they're ripe, so we will definitely know when they're ready. The hardy kiwi vines aren't as fast as the grapes, but they're definitely going at it, and I'm starting to see lots of little offshoots from the main vines coming out. I'm still looking at this and thinking I'm probably not getting fruit this year, but hopefully we are getting a lot of good growth. And these are the perennial cucumbers I was telling you about. Aren't they so tiny and cute? The actual little cucumbers are supposed to be like large grape sized, kind of like a cucamelon. And like the name suggests, they are supposed to be perennial. So I just find that to be really interesting, and I'm hoping that maybe I can get some established at least in one section of my garden. And then right here in the herb raised bed, I have a couple of different parsleys in here. This one's like a standard curly parsley, and this one is my Japanese wild perennial parsley. It's supposed to live a lot longer than the standard 2 years the other parsley lives. So I'm feeling excited that this looks like it's going to get really well established for me. I was also noticing that I have chamomile and feverfew blooming next to each other. So I thought I'd show you guys the slight difference in their flowers, because everyone who comes in my garden sees the feverfew and thinks it's chamomile. Like, it's a really understandable mistake to make. They do look very, very similar, but the leaves are where the real difference is. This looks nothing like a chamomile leaf, and if you were to smell it, you would definitely be able to tell. My calendula flowers are definitely exploding. It looks like I might have missed pulling a few. These ones, the way they're curling up like that, they are actually already starting to make seeds. But I've been pulling off of these so heavily that it's crazy to see just how many blooms the plants will make in response. Like if you look close, you can see the empty stems here from all the different flowers that I've already plucked off. I should have a really good stash to make some skincare products with this summer. So even though the sunchokes are looking super healthy, the American groundnuts that are supposed to be in here, they really never came up. They really looked like they were going to. They looked very much alive, but I just haven't seen them anywhere. I'm wondering if maybe they're supposed to come up at a different time of year, or, you know, maybe something ended up killing them. It seems unlikely that all of them would have died, but I really just don't know what else might have happened. And then if we take a look at the berry patch, it is obviously getting very overgrown, but the St. John's wort, I'm actually really surprised at how massive it's gotten. Like, it's creeping onto the sidewalk so much, I'm definitely gonna have to start cutting it back. Maybe I'll wait until after it flowers, because these are looking gorgeous. But the Bermuda grass is kind of out of control. I'm trying to beat it back little by little. We've got my garlic chives hiding in here. There's still a blueberry bush in here that I actually, there's like a couple little ripe fruits a day that I get off of it. But in general, have not gotten just a ton of blueberries from this area. Blackberries also starting to slow down. There's obviously still a ton of fruit on here, but you can see like this whole area, all these branches were absolutely loaded, and I've now picked them all relatively clean at this point. Oh, and also you guys should see the rhubarb. That's these plants with the giant leaves back here. I was not expecting them to be this massive, but they look absolutely gorgeous. I'm getting pretty excited about seeing them next year when they're actually just like really well-established plants. Ooh, look at that golden hour on the raspberries. I'm actually kind of in between raspberry harvests right now, but you can see we are very close to round 2 coming up. We had a fair bit of rain last week, and I saw that it started to really stimulate growth on my pineapple guava. You can see the cute little silver leaves coming up, and I'm still feeling iffy, like I'm not sure if it's going to try and flower this year. My gut is telling me no at this point, but I guess there's still a chance, seeing as it's a fall fruiting plant. But if I don't get fruit from it this year, I'll only be mildly disappointed. Draco has come to join us, looking very regal in the summer sun. Can you guys believe he's 11 years old now? He still looks so young to me. Anyways, let's check on the pomegranate tree. This thing has mostly just been leafing out. I haven't seen a ton of like branches forming. I think I'm gonna have to do some real research on what to do as far as pruning this thing, especially seeing as it's a dwarf variety. I also noticed the other day that I have a few figs on one of my fig trees. This is actually my newest fig, my LSU purple. And I have 7 figs on here, which is kind of incredible given how young it is, or at least it's new to me. I thought maybe with the transplant shock and everything, it wouldn't be fruiting, but here we are. And a little check-in on the citrus. Definitely got some grass growing near it. This one is the citramon. This is like the hardiest one of the bunch that I got. And you can see these lighter leaves are the new ones that it's been putting on since I got it. I've also got the kumquat over here, which when I wasn't looking, put out an entirely new branch of leaves. And all of these look absolutely excellent. You can see old leaves versus new leaves right here. And the one that we've been calling the Sour Patch Kid, it is the one with the boring name US 942. It's been putting on just a touch of new growth, not a ton. It honestly looks the least healthy of all of them, especially because some of the leaves down here are still a little yellow. And there's also a giant spider web in the middle of it. I don't know if you guys can see it move in the light. But yeah, this one I have the least hope for, but I don't know, we'll see. It's definitely not dead. It just needs a little bit of help. And then we have to check on the elderberry over here. This actually is looking really good. I am not seeing any fruit on it this year, which is a little disappointing. I thought it would be a little faster than that, but you know, next year it's pretty certain that this will absolutely pop off. And I've also got my raspberry here. This is the new one that was a gift from my grandmother. Look at him go. Yeah, anyways, I don't know what variety this is because it was a gift, and also it looks like some deer have been munching on it. And you know, that's really interesting to me, especially because it's thorny. But definitely, I have been seeing deer damage here and there on the stuff that's not inside my deer fence. So that tells me the deer are definitely still around and the deer fence is definitely still working. And here's this little baby fig, another gift from a viewer that I really thought had died, and I'm so happy that it didn't. I gotta be honest, it is still pretty hot out here even as the sun is setting. It was in the 90s today, which is still like normal-ish for here, but like on the hotter end of normal. And they're calling for even hotter temperatures this week. So I'm just like trying to mentally prepare myself for that. And especially trying not to get behind as far as all the gardening duties, because something that's been really important to me this year is not letting the garden get away from me, so to speak. All right, guys, well, I absolutely need to go indoors before these mosquitoes eat me alive, but thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I wish you all happy gardening.